Hi everybody, I'm Ryan. Recently I was scrolling through Twitter and I noticed that some people were asking what these new Discover decks were doing in Pioneer. They'd be looking at deck lists of the 4-color Discover deck and the Quintorious Combo deck and really having no clue how the deck works. And so being a Magic the Gathering competitive strategy channel, I wanted to just talk about how these combos work and the reason they've been frankly tearing up Pioneer recently. Which, by the way, if you haven't seen any of my recent videos, I was recently diagnosed with pertussis, which is the whooping cough bacteria. That's why my voice sounds super weird, but it's finally better, so I can continue recording. A lot of the videos recently that I've not sounded weird were recorded long ago. I've actually taken quite a long break. So, here we are. Okay, I guess I'm lucky I got ahead of it. First off, the 4-color Discover deck. Now, what it's doing is it's attempting to ramp with Elemental Masterpiece, discarding to make a treasure, Creative Outburst, discarding to make a treasure, and Magma Opus, discarding to make a treasure, in order to play either Geological Appraiser as early as turn 3, or Trumpeting Carnosaur as early as turn 4. Now let's assume we play Geological Appraiser because that's one of the options you can hit with Trumpeting Carnosaur anyway. What you're going to do is you're going to discover 3. Now the only cards in the deck that you can discover 3 into are Glasspool Mimic or Eldritch Evolution. If you hit Glasspool Mimic, then you copy Geological Appraiser, and you rinse and repeat. If you hit Eldritch Evolution, then you sacrifice a Geological Appraiser, or one of the copies, in order to grab Trumpeting Carnosaur. Trumpeting Carnosaur discovers 5, and you will either always hit Geological Appraiser, Glasspool Mimic, or Eldritch Evolution. And then you continue this cycle over and over until you have a ton of Trumpeting Carnosaurs and or Geological Appraisers, which, by the way, obviously, if you have Glasspool Mimic, and you have a Trumpeting Carnosaur, you want to be copying the Trumpeting Carnosaur once you have one in the battlefield. Generally, how the combo works is you do this until you only have one Eldritch Evolution left in your deck. Then once you discover into that Eldritch Evolution, you sacrifice a Geological Appraiser into Doomscar Titan, which when it enters the battlefield, it gets all of your creatures +1/+0 and gain haste, which means you get to kill in the same turn, because you're going to have a ton of Trumpeting Carnosaurs, a ton of Geological Appraisers, and the Trumpeting Carnosaurs have trample, and you're just going to kill them. Now, if you draw your one of Doomscar Titan, then instead what you're going to do is use Eldritch Evolution to sacrifice one of your Trumpeting Carnosaurs and grab Ghalta Stampede Tyrant, which then you put Doomscar Titan onto the battlefield, and the same thing happens. So this is a reasonably reliable kill as early as turn 3. The thing about it is this is really easily interrupted either with Athalia because they need to be able to hit Eldritch Evolution, and it's interrupted with a removal spell because when they play the first Discover creature, if you kill the thing in response to Discover, they can't cast Glasspool Mimic or Eldritch Evolution. So that's like really easily interrupted, and it's interrupted with Spell Pierce. They'll get a few creatures if they're lucky, but you can just like Spell Pierce the Eldritch Evolution and it's not a big deal. And of course it's interrupted with counter magic. So it's not the end all be all, but being a reliable turn 3 kill is still really scary. Now the Quintorious combo deck is also a Discover deck. However, it's going to behave a little bit differently. First off, there's a lot more room to be able to have alternate win conditions in this deck. Things like Herd Migration, being able to just cast things like Beanstalk Giant, just casting Virtue of Persistence, being able to interact with Leyline Binding, and so that's a lot of the draw to the deck. However, it's a little bit slower, and fully relies on you being able to cast Quintorious Cond, or Trumpeting Carnosaur into Quintorious Cond. So the primary combo of the deck is you play Quintorious Cond, it's a 5-mana Planeswalker, and you're going to discover 4, which is its -3 ability, which leaves it at 1 loyalty. You will always hit either Clever Impersonator or Spark Double. Now, if you hit Clever Impersonator, you're just going to copy Quintorious Cond and do it again. However, we're trying to hit Spark Doubles, because Spark Double ignores the Legendary rule. So let's assume we hit Spark Double. Quintorious Cond hits Spark Double, it enters the battlefield, we copy Quintorious Cond. When we cast that thing from exile, because we're going to discover you're casting it from exile, your opponent loses 2 life, you gain 2 life. And then when you copy Quintorious Cond, you then -3 the new thing to discover 4 again. You discover into either a Clever Impersonator or Spark Double, you cast it, you lose 4, I gain 4 because I have 2 Quintorious Conds. Now if you Clever Impersonator, of course you have to sacrifice like the original homie. Or if you've already hit a Spark Double, you're actually able to use the Clever Impersonator to copy Spark Double and the Spark Double copy, because the Spark Double copy is not legendary, which is disgusting. So the only like annoying thing is if you hit Clever Impersonator first, you have to sacrifice the original Quintorious Cond, which is annoying. But once you get the first Spark Double, it doesn't matter what you hit. And then, of course, you keep cycling this. You get your 3rd Quintorious Cond, minus, hit another thing, cast it, you lose 6, I gain 6. Another thing, I now get my 4th Quintorious Cond, minus, hit thing, you lose 8, I gain 8, etc., until they're dead. Now, this also works by casting Trumpeting Carnosaur, which you're going to be ramping into with cards like Greater Tanuki and Beanstalk Giant. Where you can Trumpeting Carnosaur, you will always hit either Quintorious Con, Spark Double, or Clever Impersonator. If you hit Clever Impersonator or Spark Double, you just copy the Trumpeting Carnosaur again and try again. Once you Quintorious Con, you can continue with the combo. Now, even though this deck is slower, the draw to the deck is it requires a lot less cards. It doesn't die to just a removal spell, unless you're like you're unlucky with the Trumpeting Carnosaur. However, it does tie to burn spells because if you have a removal for the Quintorious Con, just a 1-mana Planeswalker, it effectively works the same way because it requires copying. But it's slower, so your opponent has more time to set up. So take that as you will. But that is an explanation about how the 2 Discover decks in Pioneer work. If you like this video and want to see more videos like this, please be sure to like and subscribe. Check me out on social media. Links are above me and in the description. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.